Long ago, in a land that has long been forgotten, there lived a young girl that was beloved by everyone who encountered her. She not only had a sweet disposition, but was also an obedient daughter and citizen. She always showed gratitude to the soldiers that patrolled her village for ne'er-do-wells, always mourned the choices of those she reported to the authorities for breaking the rules, never questioned what she was told, and above all, never ever wore the color red. Everyone knew the color red was forbidden, as it was the color of the rebels. To be seen wearing red was to be recognized as an enemy of Gran, short for Government Reasoning Authority of the nation. One day, while the young girl was helping her mother hang the laundry out to dry, she watched as a woman she did not recognize pulled her mother out of earshot. Her mother looked horrified by whatever she was told, seemingly thanked the woman with a brisk nod, and yanked the young girl into the house. "Mother, what is it?" the young girl asked, startled to see her mother frantically rifle around in their tool chest. "Did that woman need help fixing something? Because if you have too much to do, I could—" She drifted off as her mother used a flathead screwdriver to remove one of the floorboards and pulled out a small box. The box was opened, and out came a scarlet Red Riding Hood, tumbling into her mother's waiting grasp. "Mother?" the young girl jumped back, horrified. She stared at the riding hood, certain that at any moment it would manifest claws and sharp teeth. "We don't have time for me to explain much," the mother warned, depositing the hood into her daughter's trembling hands. "I can only say the bare minimum. Yes, I've been a rebel for some time, since before you were born. I taught you to be obedient so that Gran would never suspect, at least until the time was right, but somehow they found me out. They're on their way now. You need to run, out the back way," she instructed, pushing her daughter decisively in the direction of the back door. "They'll be too busy with me to think about you for a while. Go straight through the woods to the other side of the forest. When you get far enough away, put that hood on. Don't trust anyone who isn't also wearing red. The Red Rebels will know you're my daughter when they see my hood and will take you in." Reaching the back door, she moved to open it. A fist pounded on the front door. "Grand Police, open up!" The mother gave her daughter a tearful smile, kissed her on the forehead, and shoved her forcefully out the door. "I love you," the mother mouthed, before closing the door behind her. The young girl stood there for a few moments with her mouth hanging open, struck dumb, until she heard a gunshot go off from inside the house. The birds in the trees instinctively flew away at the whip-like crack, and so did she, fleeing through the woods as her mother had directed. It wasn't until she had gotten fairly deep into the woods, her heart pounding and chest heaving for breath, that she realized what the gunshot meant. Beginning to cry, she collapsed to her knees. She went to rest her head in her hands, but knocked her head into the fist that still tightly clung to the hood. She studied it, this piece of cloth that had held the power to destroy the life she knew. Eventually, though, she tied it around her head. It was what her mother had told her to do, after all. She ventured deeper into the forest, this time at a more relaxed pace. After about an hour of walking, an owl flew overhead and landed on a nearby branch. "Are you lost, child?" the owl asked. "If you are, I am a very wise old owl. I would be happy to help you find your way." The young girl considered taking the owl up on its offer. The owl seemed very nice, plus she was beginning to worry that she was indeed lost. Her instincts told her she could trust the owl. However, upon closer inspection, she observed that the owl was not wearing any red. To trust it anyway would be to go against her mother, so she politely declined and continued on her path. A couple hours later, she came upon a beaver chewing some logs beside a stream. "Hey there," the beaver called out. "You looking to get somewhere, little girl? If you keep me company while I work on it, I could build a raft out of this wood for you to travel down the stream." Once again, the young girl was incredibly tempted, even more than she had been with the owl, as quite some time had passed and she was getting tired. It seemed like it would be fun to spend some time with the beaver, too. Her instincts told her it was a good idea. However, just as the owl hadn't been wearing any red, neither was the beaver, so she politely declined and continued on her path. Finally, night fell, and the young girl allowed herself to rest against a tree trunk. Unbeknownst to her, a wolf hired by Gran had been hunting her for most of the time she'd been on her trek. The wolf was not as wise as the owl or as crafty as the beaver, but it was fast. It was able to find the young girl with a red hood that Gran had told it about even without a scent identification. "What a pretty girl you are," the wolf complimented, thus announcing its presence to the girl. The way he said it reminded her of how her mother would coo with the fish she had caught for that night's supper. "A pretty girl like you shouldn't be sleeping against a tree in the middle of nowhere. Hop on my back and I'll let you ride me to your destination," the wolf offered. The girl's instinct screamed at her to once again reject the offer. What big ears, and eyes, and teeth he had! She opened her mouth to repeat her refrain for the third time, but stopped when she saw it. There, around its neck, was a red bandana. Remembering her mother's advice and ignoring her urge to run, the girl rose from her place against the tree. She ambled over towards the wolf, but before she had the chance to get on its back, the wolf leaped at her and gobbled her up. A good parent does their best to prepare their child for the world, but at the end of the day, one needs to trust their own instincts above all else in order to survive.